Hello and welcome to the next video about microfinance and assessment skills. And this one is going to look at what is called SWOT analysis. SWOT. Here we go. SWOT is short for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. S for strengths, W for weakness, O for opportunities, T for threats. The first two, the strengths and weaknesses, they look at the project itself, the internal things. The second two, the opportunities and threats, they look at the environment that the project will operate in, the external things. So internal things about the project, they can be strengths or weaknesses. For example, the experience of the operator. If he's got a lot of experience, that will be a strength. If they don't have any experience, that will be a weakness. And the position shown by the statement of income and expenditure. It may be strong, may be weak. So next, external things about the project, the opportunities and the threats. For example, the trends in the number of people who want the goods or service that they are making or selling. If there's more and more people want it all the time, that will obviously be good for them. If there's less and less people want it all the time, that will be bad. Also, competitor activity. If there's a lot of competition, that will be difficult for them. If there's not much competition, that will make it easier. So some definitions. Strengths are things about the business or the project that gives it an advantage over others. Weaknesses are things about the business or the project that put it at a disadvantage to others. A useful way to look at this is as a box diagram, like the one you see next. As you think of each thing about the business, you put it in the correct box. And at the end, you have a picture of the position and the prospects of the business or the project. So we have at the top, we have two columns, the middle column and the right-hand column, things that help the business, things that hurt the business. And then in column one, we have two things there, internal, things about the project itself, or external, things about the situation or the environment where the business will operate. So here is an activity for you to do. Here's the story. Nonananu is planning to open a shop in her village, selling snacks and general goods that are often needed, things like needles and thread. There is no shop in her village at present, and the nearest one is about 30 minutes away by car. The population of the village is slowly growing as the number of children is increasing, and some people are returning to the village from Thailand. Also, there are jobs in agriculture for people so that young people are not leaving the village to work somewhere else as much as they used to. She has done research and knows she can buy a good range of goods from a supplier in Thailand. She used to work in a similar shop in Thailand for 5 years, and she knows the supplier well. She also knows what things to stock in the shop. She has calculated she will need a loan of 10,000 baht to buy stock. The shop will be run from an unused room in her present house. A lot of the villagers have told her they will use the shop, and her profits are estimated at 2,000 baht per month. Sales will be in baht, not chat. Nonananu is 56 years old and thinks she will be able to run the shop for at least the next 4 years. After that, it's not certain who will run it, as there are no members of her family who could do it. At present, there is a ceasefire between the armies near her village, which has lasted for 3 years. But 8 years ago, before the ceasefire, most of her village was burned and destroyed. So based on the background that I've just given you, I want you to complete the SWOT analysis boxes for this project. You might want to pause the video while you do that, because of course I'm going to go on with the answers now. So here we go. So firstly, internal, so things about the project, things that help the strengths. So she has experience in running this kind of business. She knows the supplier. The projections show a profit. And there's no costs, as business will be run from an existing room in her house. Those are all good things that help the business. On the other column, things that hurt, the weaknesses, Donana knows age, with no one to take over later. That could be a problem. Okay, external things. Opportunities. There's no other shops close by. The population of the village is growing, and the villagers have said that they will support it. And the threats, army activity. So now that we've identified the strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats, the next step is to decide if there's anything that can be done to make the most of the strengths and opportunities, or to reduce the effect of the weaknesses and threats. For example, can she find someone outside her family who could be trained to take over in 4 years? This would reduce the effect of the weakness. Another example, can she make sure that all the stock is easily transported so that it can be moved if there's a threat from the army? At this stage, you have to make a judgment. Do the strengths and opportunities outweigh the weaknesses and threats? If the answer is no, the project should not go ahead. And it's very important that you're honest about this, because this is a judgment. We're dealing in opinions, not in hard facts. And it's easy to persuade yourself that it's okay because you want the project to go ahead. The idea of setting it out on paper in the boxes is to stand back a bit and look at it with less emotion. Remember that if the project goes ahead but then fails, Nonananu, the microfinancier, and the next person the microfinancier would have loaned the money to have all lost out. That's part of the reason it's good to bounce these things off somebody else, a mentor or somebody you respect, because they will have less emotion about it than you. They will look at it more objectively, and they will tell you some of the bad things that maybe you don't want to admit to yourself. And this is the end, my friend. See you next time.